And these changes are changes geared towards energizing or re-energizing my administration. It's geared towards aligning the departments for service delivery and for the general betterment and welfare of our people in Migori County. I have made changes in the executive, and the changes are as follows. Honorable Chacha Rahab Robi has been moved from the Department of Environment, Natural Resources, Climate Change and Disaster Management to the Department of Education, Gender Inclusivity, Social Services, Youth and Sports. Honorable Mercy Sau Mwakio Okwanyo has been moved from the Department of Trade, Tourism, Industry, Market and Cooperative Development to the Department of Public Service Management, Monitoring and Evaluation and Performance Contracting. Honorable Dr. Mogesi Betty Samburu has been moved from the Department of Education, Gender Inclusivity, Social Services, Youth and Sports to the Department of Trade, Tourism, Industry, Market and Cooperative Development. Honorable Caleb Oduor Opondi has been moved from the Department of Public Service Management, Monitoring and Evaluation and Performance Contracting to the Department of Environment, Natural Resources, Climate Change and Disaster Management. The officers who have been moved that I've talked about are very good officers. We have confidence in them. We have moved them for the purposes of realigning those departments and reinvigorating those departments. These changes are with effect from 20th September 2023. The officers serve in the positions of CECM, the equivalent of Waziri. I have further made changes to the chief officers. Mr. Charles Mikwabe Chacha has been moved from Environment, Natural Resources, Climate Change and Disaster Management to Water and Energy. Mr. Philip Dalmas Odero has been moved from Public Works and Infrastructural Development to the Department of Environment, Natural Resources, Climate Change and Disaster Management. Mr. Fidel Majiwa has been moved from the Department of Water and Energy to the Department of Monitoring, Evaluation and Performance Contracting. Mrs. Rose Atieno Otieno has been moved from the Department of Medical Services to the Department of Roads and Transport. Mr. Samuel Do Atula has been moved from the Department of Roads and Transport to the Department of Medical Services. Mr. Nelson Aluoch Wasonga has been moved from the Department of Monitoring, Evaluation and Performance Contracting to the Department of ICT, E-Governance and Innovation. And Mr. Victor Omondi Ouya has been moved from the Department of ICT, E-Governance and Innovation to the Department of Trade, Industry and Tourism. Further, the following chief officers have been appointed to act in other departments. Mr. Victor Omondi Ouya will be the acting chief officer for cooperative development and marketing. Professor Rose Aoko Ogwang will be acting chief officer for gender inclusivity and social services. And Mrs. Roslyn Atieno Otieno will be acting in the Department of Public Works and Infrastructure. These appointments are effective or have been effective from 20th of September. And these are the changes that we have made. I've made the two changes pursuant to the authority vested in me by the County Governments Act, revised edition revised in 2020, section 31, paragraph BA, that is the changes made pursuant to the CECMs, and the changes made relating to chief officers have been made pursuant to the same Act of Parliament, sections 45, subsection 5 of the County Government Act of 2012.